The most visionary people that you will ever meet are often the ones who have been through the darkest tunnels, the darkest times, and they decided to build something on the other side. So if you've ever felt like the system wasn't built for you, or that you've outgrown the story that you've been living in for so many years, this episode is your permission to step into a whole new narrative, because true freedom doesn't come from fixing the past. It comes from creating from nothing. Hey there, it's Josselyne Herman-Saccio, host of Be Unmessable with the podcast. And if you are a visionary and you want to make a difference, then today's episode is for you. I speak with the founder of the Epic Fit Network, which is all about connecting visionaries to serve humanity. So join me and my guest, Justin Breen. Welcome, Justin.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. I'm glad we got connected by. I always give a shout out to Jennifer Hill because she is the connector of all connectors on the planet. So I wouldn't have half my episodes if it weren't for Jen, I would
Right,
say.
right.
But do tell us about, because I know your mission, or at least from what I've read about you, this first time we're meeting, about connecting visionaries to really serve humanity.
Mhm.
Tell us about how you ended up on this path, because clearly that's not something you think of when you're 8 years old. Like I want to be a visionary connector.
That's a fair question. That's a fair question. When I was 8, I had no idea what was going on in the world. I was very confused by why people had to find linear paths or find a job. That was genuinely confusing to me. So would make own like radio shows or like I was my own DJ. It was kind of interesting. And then, when I was 8, so that'd be 3rd grade, my father was 61 when I was born, and my mom was 27, so, was just born with the story. And then in 3rd grade, I told the whole class how, babies were made, but not like dork thing, because I have no filter, and then I got in a lot of trouble for that. So I'm still an
For the
8-year-old.
sex education
Yeah,
class.
yeah, sex
Yeah.
education. Yeah, so I've always kind of been like that, just say how I feel, and, visionaries really like that, ones who are changing the world and are very direct like that, and then a lot of folks, which is fine, they kinda run for the hills, but that's okay.
Yes, straight talk is, some people are allergic to it. I get what you're saying. That's
Yes.
what people say about me as a coach is I say the things people are afraid to say, you know. But, so how did you end up with, the Epic Fit Network getting created? What was the birth story of that?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. So I guess structurally, my day is having meetings like this, whether they're recorded or one-on-one or in group sessions, and then, um, I just spend my time listening and feeling what people are saying and then just connecting them on the spot. Jen is very similar to that. And the mastermind or company was formed because it actually creates a structure for it. I'm not good at building structures, nor do I care about that stuff. That's for someone else who's actually good at it to do. So that's how that company was formed. Um, and then now there's a plant medicine retreat center where my partner's good at building structures, have 2 AI music companies where partners are good at building structures. And thank God for that, because if the whole world was like me, it would not be good. It would be very
With
bad.
no systems or
No
structures.
systems or logic or fear. That wouldn't be good. There'd be a lot of things blown up, but the world needs I'm a manifester, and human design is very rare. So manifestors are usually the ones that create the things, and then people take that energy and do something with it.
And talk a little bit about this AI music company you have, because my background is in music and had a number one record in 1993,
Makes
and
sense.
that was my dream come true. Not my dream anymore, and I don't envy people in the music business, but I love what you're doing because so many people want to have a creative expression with music,
Yeah.
but feel they don't have the skills. So talk a little bit about what you do with that
Right.
company.
Oh, good. Yeah. So that's a great point. And so being just as context background, so I don't know why or how it happens, but I'll say something like 2 music companies, and then the person that conversing with, they'll be like, "Oh, I have a music background," or "had a number," like, I don't know how or why that happens, but it happens every conversation. I
See, there
don't
you go. You can't escape logic, even though it's not your thing.
but
It
there's no
shows up
logic
around
in that.
you.
There's literally 0 logic in me saying I started 2 music companies and then you having a number 1 record. Like,
Yeah.
there's no logic. That's the opposite of logic. It's illogical. But so with the first AI music company, it's called Corvia, CORVIA.ai. So core is heart and via is path. And I have no music background or AI background, none. Like, you don't need that for this. So there was no intent to start a company at all. But in around Thanksgiving, I just started writing poems, and one of my friends is like, "Oh, hey, do you want to make these poems into songs?" She's connected with Garth Brooks. I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure, happy to do that. I don't know how to do it, but I'll start doing it." And then was at a Thanksgiving party where people were talking about youth soccer and youth baseball, and I got bored, so I'm like, "Oh, I have all these lyrics, why don't I just plug one of them in or look for a platform where I can plug them into an AI thing?" And then that song was called Warrior Queen. And then I was listening to it and I listened to the first version, it was okay. And then the second version, I just started crying because it was so beautiful. I'm like, oh, this is good. And then really started writing songs. And then my partner for that company, he's really good at scaling stuff and he's had multiple exits and he understands AI and crypto and all that stuff. Uh, and then we decided that we would start a company teaching people how to make these songs through AI, and it's very exciting because music is the fast track into your own soul, into your own heart, and you can make these songs very quickly. And very excited to watch that company scale because people are far more fragmented now, and they don't necessarily know how to create things in a
Yeah.
quick fashion that really touch your heart and soul. And music predates spoken communication by 10,000 years. Uh, at least 10,000 years, probably more. They've found evidence that it predates spoken communication by 10,000 years, but it's probably earlier than that. And so to create a company like that will be really exciting. And then the second one, some of the songs I've written, the actual lyrics, we're having human musicians make those into songs. I haven't really announced much about that, but we don't want AI to replace humans. We want it to augment them. So two companies with AI music.
And the second one where you're having the human musicians create it, is it still written by AI and then
But
the human musicians record it? I see.
no,
Yeah.
those are songs that I've written or that humans will write because there's no answer right now. There's a gray area if AI writes the lyrics, if you can monetize the songs. And that's I don't really care. Like I just want to write the songs and be the creator and then have someone else worry about that stuff. But that's we haven't really announced much on that company because there's still a gray area in that regard. But currently, as of this recording, those are songs that
Yes.
I've personally written and then like written all of them without using AI at all. And then we would, I'm guessing, conceivably use other lyricists who actually wrote the songs. And then I'm in the process of getting registered with SASEM and ASCAP and all those organizations as well.
Yeah, and who do you find uses the current system, the one where they can get support from AI, like maybe they put in their lyrics, but
Mm,
then the melody or the the
mm.
music, the backing music might come from the program?
Well, that's interesting. Well, there's no target market for this unless you're a human. Like, I mean, it doesn't
Well,
matter.
hopefully we're talking to humans.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true too. But like, we've done workshops for family office groups where to be in that room, you have to have $50 million in personal assets, which that's great, but they're human. And I've done songs
Yes.
with people who don't have any money, did songs for visionary entrepreneurs, did songs with men, women. We've done, my kids do their own songs. My partner, Eric, I guess business partner, his children do songs. So like, schools, like it doesn't matter. Healthcare, mental health, like all those things. And then our platform is easily scalable because we're going to start doing Monday through Friday workshops fairly soon. Yep.
It's a great access for people because I know, I work with the creative arts people. I have an entertainment company and manage actors for 25 years.
Makes
And a
sense.
lot of them want to write, but don't feel that they have the ability to write. So I think while
Mm,
AI, as scary as it can be for certain people, it's also
yes,
a real gateway
of
to
course.
creativity expressed for people if used, for good instead of evil. Let's put it that way.
Well, and that's a great point. And we're at a tipping point in society. And then I'm like you, I'm very direct. I appreciate your directness. Most of my day, not all, is talking to very wealthy people. Um, and at this point, most of the folks in that I'm introduced to are actual visionaries. However, if I'm in a group setting or in the past, I would be introduced to narcissists pretending to be visionaries, where they are just trying to make more money, and they're pretend visionaries, and it's really high IQ with no EQ, all logic. There's no heart behind any of it, which, by the way, is fine. People like that build systems and create companies that hire people. It's good, but what I found is with the music aspect of it, uh, with AI specifically, I found that's the best way currently to use it in a positive soul fashion. And what I hear from people who struggle with AI or are afraid of it,
Mhm.
they're just using logic behind it, or they're trying to sell something, or they're trying to create these systems to annoy people with things that it's clearly not a human reaching out to them. And and so that's where the struggle is. And it takes people that are very brave and will realize what's happening in society. And then, more importantly, once you realize it, it's great. But then, what do you do with it? It's creating
Yeah.
things that actually help people, help the collective break out of their own matrix.
Yeah, well, first they've gotta get that they're in a matrix,
That
and
is
that is
true.
the first step. That is definitely that first
That's
step of
interesting you said
awareness.
that. That so most, and that's fine. There's no judgment. It's fine. But most of the world
Yeah,
will never realize that. They just
no.
won't. Which is okay. It's okay.
You don't need the whole world to realize it. You need a tipping point phenomenon, just enough
That
of
is
the
true.
conversation shifting
That's
is the
correct.
access,
And that's where
God willing.
the great point. So that's where I spend my actual days talking to those folks that have both the high IQ and high EQ. So they have the heart, but then they have the IQ, and almost always they have the capital to scale it. Because if you have the
Mhm.
heart and you don't have the capital, or know the people with the capital do anything about it, then you can't have your full output. You can't. Um,
No, there's
Not
a
in
lot
this
of people
world.
with good intentions, but no realization of
And
those
that means
intentions.
nothing to me, and it only means
Yeah.
nothing to me because you can't really help society without it. You can't. So, and then that becomes an excuse, and I don't believe in excuses. I only believe in, like, you just go for it. I'll send you, I don't know if I can put it in the chat, but I'll send you some of the songs
Oh,
that
yes,
I
I'd love
wrote.
to hear them, but it's so funny. I'm a big Barry Manilow fan, I admit, and, I'm a huge Fanilow. And, I've thought of 2 or 3 Barry Manilow songs while you've been talking. You have
Of course.
reminded me, you've called up the inner Fanilow, and one is I write the songs, obviously, but he didn't write that, but that is one of his most famous. And then there's another song that he's known for called One Voice. I don't
Mm,
know if you're familiar with it. But it's
mm,
all about like one voice singing in the darkness and how then you get more voices and more voices. And that's
yeah.
what I hear in what you're out to. And I don't usually listen through the lens of Barry Manilow at all, but
No,
you
yeah,
are calling up
yeah.
my passion for Barry.
Oh, good, thanks. So I'll send you, just because you said it, I was looking at the songs I did. Let's see if I can put it in there. Let's see. But one of the songs I wrote is called "Wait in the Dark." So
Ah, there you go.
there you
One
go.
voice singing in the darkness. See,
Yeah.
this is
Well, you
not by
can't.
mistake.
Again, there's no logic in that. That's just how it.
See, it's so funny because to me, I'm very logical,
I
but to
know.
me, that is perfectly logical.
Yeah.
like, to
Don't think
me,
so.
that we are on this call and that those things, those kind of synergies or synchronicities are showing up, to me, is my logic. I don't know. It's definitely, that's 1 + 1 = 2 for me.
Fair enough.
But there you go. And so what do you find when you're working with, like, the people that you work with, let's just say visionaries? What makes somebody a visionary? Because I've found, they call me a vision architect because I work with people on their vision and
Mhm.
everything I do starts with vision. But when I talk about vision, it's sometimes very different from what other people mean by vision. So I'm
Mm,
interested to know what your definition or how you distinguish it.
'kay. Um, I'm sending you these songs because I don't like to forget things, but, so learning and talking to people like us and then seeing the patterns in things, seeing the patterns with things and then revealing them, I guess, or evolving them. But I've found there are 4 things that separate visionaries. Only 4, not counting silver spoons. I talked to a lot of silver spoons, but not counting silver spoons. The 4 things are bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy, 2, depression, 3, highest level of anxiety you can imagine, and 4, trauma as a child or young adult. So vast majority of the world, those are excuses. Visionary, that's the fuel. So since COVID, not counting silver spoons, I've talked to 8 or 9 folks less than 3 of those 4 things. I'm 3 of the 4. Haven't had to worry about bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy. However, to do all the stuff that I'm doing, I would 100% bankrupt myself. I wouldn't bankrupt my wife or children, but I would bankrupt myself to do this because I don't believe in excuses. But most of the people I talk to now are all 4. Not all, but most of them. And then what I've learned is all this stuff they're building, for the most part, there are exceptions, but for the most part, it is not acknowledging their own inner hurt, childhood trauma, and they're masking it by scaling things that mask their trauma. I just posted that yesterday. And it's fine. It's fine. But the companies I'm started and helped to start are actually ones that really look into your inner trauma to heal yourself first. And the word business comes from the word bizigness, which means anxiety. So that's literally what the business world is. So when
Hmm.
I'm guessing that's what bizigness, that's what it means. So when you hear business coach, business leader, business degree, business, it's
A degree in anxiety. I love
well,
it.
it's what it means. And so and literally it's just people scaling their anxiety. And then again, if you're aware of that, what do you do with it? So it's creating things that hopefully allow people to really look inward, heal themselves, have compassion for themselves, and whether that's a mastermind. And then music is, again, what I've found is the fast track into your heart and soul. That's the greatest way to do inner healing. And then scaling that. I will agree with this. Logically, to scale inner heart, self care, that's a good thing to scale. Logic, that is logical for sure. I would agree.
Yeah. Well, I think you were on my friend Susan Drum's podcast, and
Yes.
she wrote that book, The Leader's Playlist, all about music. And
Hmm.
she's in my mastery program,
She's great.
and I use music to support people in hacking. What
Hmm.
I work on in terms of being unmessable with isn't about being tough. It's about being able to stay out of the world of reaction
Hmm.
and actually shift over to the world of vision and
Hmm.
creation,
I
which
love it.
is, as you know, a different part of your brain and a different part of your nervous
It's your
system.
heart.
And
It's your heart. It has
it's,
nothing to
yeah.
do with the brain. It's your heart.
Yes. And most of us get caught up in that world of reaction. And what I hear in what
Mm.
you're saying about the visionary thing, which is not exactly what I do, but it's not in conflict with what I do, is I find most people start their companies out of some reaction. So kind of what you're saying, to
Right.
something
Yes.
that happened or a decision they made or something they decided they didn't want to have happen. So they were going to avoid it by doing this. And that
Mhm.
ultimately the creation of a vision has to be from nothing, because
Mm.
creation can only happen from the space of nothing.
Mm.
Otherwise, we're fixing and changing and healing, which nothing wrong with healing. I mean, God knows we need to heal if there's something, like inner trauma and things that haven't been resolved. But by getting those things complete, so you're no longer in the game of fixing or healing or changing the current system, let's just say,
Mm,
but actually creating something new from a vision is a whole different space. That's what I mean by being unmessable with,
I
is being
love it.
able to stay in that. Isn't that, we're very like similar, but not quite, like parallel, I think.
That's 100%, and wow, that's really good. So, I don't think a lot anymore. I barely ever think. It confused a lot of people, but to think therefore I am is like one of the worst things ever
Yes,
said. It's
that's
literally just,
right. Turned yourself into a thing
it's
or a
just,
thought.
yeah, it's just horrific. But so almost everything is now based on what is in heart or gut, however you want to look, intuition, at a soul level. I don't take any credit for any of this. These are gifts that were given from a higher power. None of this, I mean, it's just given ability to do something, so I might as well do it. But what I'm hearing or feeling is from you is that, like, I don't know why these things were created. I just know that it came from a place where I had to do it. Like, there was no
Mhm.
choice. It was a commandment to do it. And I've learned how to, especially when writing songs, I've learned how to turn off my brain, whether it's meditating or listening to another song that inspires me to write another song, or feel things, or taking a walk, or I run every day. Um, and then having these conversations, you can just feel someone. Like, I could, all the things that you said, the last thing was the best one, because that's really the origin of creation. Is you just, like, I don't know why I feel like
It's
this. It's
nothing.
just,
It is, yeah.
well, I don't know, but
Well, it's kind of like you say you don't believe in excuses. I would say I want to divorce people from their reasons. Like, you don't have to have a reason why you
no,
created something. Like, it's for
absolutely
no
not.
reason. It's from nothing.
It's not, and okay. So, one, I appreciate that. I understand what you're saying. It I would say that the nothing is from a higher power. So I would say that
I
something.
could align with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's
So,
from,
and
but it's not a thing. It's no thing.
no, it is
I'll,
definitely not a
yes.
thing. And then so, and great point. And so now we're having a real conversation. We're out of this business world crap that I don't really care about. So and then there's two choices when you realize what we're talking about here. You can continue to have the same conversations with people that just stare at you, or or you can focus your living body lifetime on folks like you that not only understand it, but they'll collaborate in terms of what they're feeling with it, and then that helps you evolve. And then sometimes you create things, you create companies out of that. That's really what it.
Sure. I mean, I've created my whole life's work from it.
Of
So,
course, you create, it's your whole life,
yeah.
even better. Your whole life's work. It has nothing to do with companies. I mean, I guess it does, but
Yeah.
that's really what it's a life's purpose. And then, like, living body death, like most people I would guess are afraid of dying. I'm not, I mean, doesn't really, uh like, I look at life as far more than your living body timeline. So as long as consciousness and things that are created exceed living body, then that's really what I guess my concern is. So really creating things that actually impact humanity at a multi-generational, like, lifetime level. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love everything you're saying. And when you work with the people that you work with, the visionaries, like as you kind of scale them to be, however you discern them,
Mm.
what do you find is the biggest thing that throws them off course? I would use the word what messes with them because that's inside of my whole methodology, right? But what hooks them? You know what I mean? Like gets them off the track of their
Oh,
vision.
would would you like to know what I posted yesterday about that very
Sure.
topic, which made.
Absolutely. Which of
You know
course
what?
you did.
I'm gonna throw you a hug here. That this is starting to be logical, that we're starting to say that I'm gonna be a human for a minute. Um, this is not for the faint of heart, just an FYI. I'm just
No problem. Except I don't see anything in the chat what you're showing me.
Oh, no,
So,
don't
like,
worry about that. No,
okay, fine.
I'm gonna read it, if I can
Okay,
find it,
cool.
but,
Perfect.
it was 4 things. I sent you the songs in a LinkedIn message, but
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
so what is really happening in society where I see it, is the fourth thing. I posted 4 things, but the fourth thing I think is the most important for visionaries. And I don't know how this happened. I mean, I guess I don't know. I just kind of gravitate toward this kind of thing. But so the fourth thing is from I guess in general, but most of my one-on-one conversations, I'll just read it. Okay. So most of the people I talk to have significant wealth. I'm literally reading this. Almost
Yes.
all of them are generally unhappy, mainly because they haven't healed themselves and also are not with the right romantic partner. In many cases, they actually know who this person is. Some live directly across the street from them, but either they or the partner won't go the distance to unite. They then mask this trauma with alternative motives, in parentheses, work justifying their current relationship, etc. That is what I feel is actually holding not most visionaries, but I would say most people back. There's this incredible fear to play the human construct game of family or marriage where they're playing not to lose. So that's where I see it. And then from a one, I'd like to hear your input on that. And then 2, from a strictly man-woman, what I've seen, and these are the conversations I have. Again, most of these people are very wealthy. Most of them are very unhappy because of this exact situation. But where I see it, or where I feel it, because what people tell me, is that from a woman perspective, you have thousands upon thousands of years of trauma from men, literally being abused, however you want to look at that, beaten, whatever, what mentally. And women have been conditioned. There's obviously exceptions, but conditioned to be around abusive men, whatever type of abuse that is. So that's thousands upon thousands of years of conditioned abuse. And so then from a man perspective, there is nothing more painful than a man who genuinely loves, cares about a woman, and that then he is rejected or not understood. One of my friends compared it to a snowflake falling in the summer. And
Mhm.
so that is where I see, and it's starting to kind of flip around now. It's starting to flip around because men don't know what to do, women don't know what to do. They've been conditioned through marriage and things like that. And that's where society is headed, that I see. And that's my biggest hope, is that people are brave enough to actually go for true love no matter what. I think that's what's really holding them back.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I can definitely see, in the entrepreneurs and founders that I work with, very successful, lots of wealth, not a lot of fulfillment. That's really missing for people.
100%.
And it sometimes is, I would say maybe 40% of the time with the people that I've worked with is housed in their intimate relationship, right? I can
40%.
definitely get,
40%.
yeah, yeah. The rest of them, let me tell you, because it ties back to what you were saying before about healing the trauma, and people create companies to, project their healing of whatever that is because no matter what they accomplish, if it's from that space of healing or fixing, it is never going to be satisfying
No, of course
because
not.
that is a bottomless pit. So
Correct.
no matter how much money they make and how many results they produce, and how many companies it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant because it's dopamine hit. And then
Correct.
it's on to what's the next carrot? What's the next carrot? What's the next carrot?
It's
And
an
I see
addiction.
that. I mean, I saw that a lot with the actors that I worked with over the last,
Oh,
25 years managing actors. It's like, oh, all I want is to book a television show. Then they book a TV. No, if I could just have a Broadway show.
no.
It's always the
It's an
next thing. So
addiction.
I'll tell you, Justin, a lot of what I do with people, in fact, my TED Talk is about this, is about getting people to get their dream source, not their dream like a goal, because people have all these goals and it's just baloney as far as I'm concerned. It's
I
just
agree.
what's the next thing. So, what is the source of their dreams? That sort of energetic, non dual space
Yeah.
that is fulfillable at any moment without the circumstances that you think you need to fulfill a metric. It's more about a space to come from and a space to be in. And it's like dwelling in the space of possibility. So for me, vision is a spatial phenomenon. It's not a goal. It's not a picture. It's a space. You're smiling for those of you that are listening, not watching. I'm waiting with bated breath.
No, because it's funny. It's just funny. Like it just makes me. I want to impact 1 billion people. Well, if you impact 999 million, you're not going to like,
Yeah, exactly.
really
It's
like
like,
it's just nonsense. But that again, that's all IQ without the
yeah.
nothing. It's just it's
And goals are fine. Listen, I work with entrepreneurs on their goals and I work with people to double their income and all that kind of stuff.
great.
But unless they're fulfilled, what's
Doesn't
the
matter.
point?
It's well, there is no point. It doesn't.
Yeah, well,
mean
there's no
anything.
point anyway,
It
but
doesn't
yes.
mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. But like
That's right.
it's that's kind of the funny part. One of my great friends, Josh Pelliser, he sent me this incredible video about manifesting, and I'm a manifester, so I'm like, oh, it's a good video, and I've seen it really start to happen in real time, which is really fascinating. But the 4 steps. That's why all this stuff's kind of pointless because it's funny. But the 4 steps are we're all in a dream. Like this is just a dream.
Right. The Matrix. There you go.
We're all in a dream. In a dream, anything is possible. All right, so I'm dreaming. I can do anything I want. I'm just dreaming. And then 3, what do you want more than anything? That can be a personal relationship. That could be, I don't know, scale your company, whatever you want. And then you just let it go, and then you just follow the signs. Just follow the signs. Follow your intuition. Oh, look at that. Oh, that makes sense. This conversation certainly is the 4th part of that. You just follow the signs, and then you're saying things that spark my intuition, and then I think I'm saying things that spark yours, but
Yeah.
I feel like I should say I feel, but
For sure.
and then this answers your earlier question. Hopefully, the hardest thing are things that are holding people back. I will certainly speak for myself on this, is releasing attachment to outcome. Oh my God, is that hard? Good Lord. And it's the ego's last stand. It's the ego reptile brain's last stand. So it's taking a step back from that. That's why the thinking part thinking is just ego. It's just ego reptile. Think, oh, what do I think? Oh, I'm afraid. I'm thinking. So it's stepping
Well,
back.
I would contest that anybody's doing any real thinking. It's mostly just thoughting, having thoughts and thinking that you're thinking them. You're not thinking. If you were thinking most of your thoughts, you would not think half the stuff you think because it's not useful. It's
Right.
like
So
they're
stepping
just
back, it's like
brain
this
patterns.
is yeah, this is silly.
Yeah.
It's silly. So it's observing that. And that takes a lot of work, a lot of awareness, a lot of unconditioning from what
Yes.
you've been conditioned your whole life. That's why I think the whole business world is funny, because it just reinforces conditioning. It just like at a very high level, unless it's used for what you're talking about, where it's based on where the inspiration is coming from. That's not really thinking. Well, that's definitely not thinking. That's feeling. So that's the value of it, is really cutting through all the nonsense, and then really finding your purpose in life, your true purpose, your true mission, and then do something about it.
And then just play that game. I mean, but again, being committed but unattached is a muscle that most people never develop, because once they get committed, they become like dogs with bones, and that's it. They can't pivot. They can't. I always say it's etched in sand. Etch your goals in sand. Don't get so attached to the vehicle. Keep focused on the vision, not the vehicle. There's many vehicles to fulfill that vision.
Well, and then from the the relationship perspective, it's a fascinating discussion. Like, let's say you've been married 15, 20 years and then you're
I'm 30 years.
okay.
Yes.
And then I don't know if your spouse has ever said this to you, but like, you're not the person I married. Well, like, of course not. Why would I still be that? Why
I'm
would
not
I
the
still
person I
be
was 4 minutes ago.
well, of course, but like that's what I mean. So like, like it's called evolution, and I wouldn't want to be married to the person I married 20 years ago. I wouldn't want to be with, you know what I mean? So like, it's it's a playing not to lose. And I've been married. How long have I've been with my wife for 20 years. But it's like, it's evolution, and that evolution and growing together and appreciating the growth in someone, that's the real exciting part. And so it's from that relationship perspective, and then like the entrepreneurial perspective, it's like evolving and appreciating that in not only
Yeah.
yourself but everyone else.
Well, it's funny. I think this will tie back to something else we were talking about too. When you thingify yourself or turn yourself into a thing or people into a thing. And I think we do that with people. Like we know them.
Mm,
And the minute we know something, we've killed it as far as I'm concerned,
mm,
because we stop discovering for ourselves that person or that
mm.
company or that mission or
Good
that
point.
vision or whatever. So the lack of discovery in relationships is one of the sources I've seen in the work that I do with people over the last, 30 some odd years. I've coached like 200,000 people, and every time their marriage doesn't work, it's because they stop discovering the person they're married to. They wake up, they turn around, they know that person.
Right.
But that's what happens for people with themselves. You look in the mirror and you know that person. You know, I'm not a morning person. I'm a this person. I'm a that. And you've just turned yourself into a thing. So I don't know how people know anybody or anything without being related to a concept
Mm,
instead of actually being with someone, you know? But that's I think one of the sources of a powerful partnership is to be discovering newly, not rediscovering, but discovering newly, like right now and right now and right now. And I don't want the same things that I wanted 5 years ago, and
right.
neither does my husband, or neither do my children.
Of of course. That's and
Yeah.
if it's helpful for context in terms of the people I talk to, I'm guessing most of the audience is like that. But so usually, not always, but usually visionaries like us, again, not always, but usually we marry stabilizing humans, like a teacher, social worker, my wife's a pediatrician, an accountant, a lawyer, whatever that is.
My husband's a prop master in the movie business, but he is very methodical
Yeah,
and grounding. He's the logistics
yeah,
guy.
a
He always
human.
says, "You're the visionary, I'm the
Okay,
logistics."
great. So that's okay. Again,
Yeah.
that would make sense. And then one of two things happens that I've seen. One, which is most of the time. Most of the time, the stabilizer will not evolve because the visionary is not going to stop evolving. If they're a visionary, they're never going to stop evolving. But so the stabilizer does not evolve, and even if they stay married, it's very painful. That's usually what I'm seeing now. And then the second thing is, it does happen, the stabilizer will evolve with the visionary, and then it's a beautiful mutual growth. So that does happen. That's where
Yep.
I see the long lasting relationships. And then sometimes it does happen. People like us, usually it's on a second or third and or fourth marriage, but people like us will marry someone like us. And then not always, most of the time it's like Thelma and Louise driving off the cliff, but
I was
some,
going to say, I don't think that would be very good. I don't know.
well, it can be if one, there's a lot of self growth, self discovery. Two, there's someone, if there's, especially if there's children, if there's someone in the house, like a house manager, someone who can do the logistics, if they hire or something like that. Or three, that it's just them at that point. The kids, kids from
Yeah, right.
above,
Like the empty nest.
correct. Yeah, but it can happen. I've seen it happen many times. And then going back to our earlier conversation, what I'm seeing now is people actually, whether it's a stabilizing human or not, they actually know that who that person is, but they're staying in their marriage, which that
That's
I
insane.
don't. I agree with that, but That's not what most people do. They don't. They stay in the loveless marriage or loveless partnership. And
Well,
then
that which you tolerate is the lid on your life.
well, and
So
then the other argument is I don't even know, it's not an argument, is then what's better for the children? Is it better for the kids to see that type of marriage, or is it for them to see their parents happy? I would say it's the second thing that would be
definitely it is. And kids are very resilient. But I know my parents, I started working in transformative work when I was 11. I did my
cool.
first transformative seminar, the S training, when I was 11 in the 70s. And
Of
it's
course.
because my parents, they got separated.
Of
My
course.
dad was cheating on my mom with high profile, blah, blah, blah. And then they got separated. And then my mother did the S training, and she came out of that as what I would say my first glimpse of unmessablewithness. Like she
Of
was able to
course.
just create and
Yeah.
fulfill.
You're
And
just
a
your
year
mom
later,
evolved. I understand.
and then she's 94 this year. So my
Yeah.
father did the same training a year later, and they got back together.
Right.
And they just celebrated 65 years together. But if it weren't for transformation, that never would have happened. We
Of
would not
course.
have the family we have. I wouldn't, have the tools that I have. So I thank God for it happening.
Of
And I
course.
thank God for transformation to be able to give us the tools to create our family rather than just end up in one.
Yeah, so you've seen that's really fascinating because everything been talking about, that's literally been your whole life from
Yeah,
basically
my whole life. Like I'm 58
yeah,
this year. So
right.
it's 47 years of speaking
Yes.
the language of transformation, which is such a gift. I mean,
In
thank
this
God. I was
lifetime, it's
adopted.
47 years.
Yeah, in this lifetime, but I was adopted when I was like 3 months old, so I
Of
always say the
course.
best gifts my parents gave me were adopting me and
Yeah,
transformation.
so are you all 4 of those 4 things? Bankruptcy, potential
I
bankruptcy?
don't really think of it as like trauma or anything, maybe, but to me, it doesn't occur that way. You know
You
what I mean?
remind me
Like
of
it
Wayne
was.
Dyer. You remind me of Wayne Dyer.
Mm.
He looked at things like that.
Yeah, it's funny because even, people, because I say I've been married for 30 years, but we've had 5 fights in the 30 years, and people go, "That's impossible, blah blah blah." And I go, "Well, my husband thinks it's 6, but I'm not going to, or he thinks it's 4." And I go, "But I'm not going to argue because that would be 6 in my book. So I'm
Right.
just going to leave it be. It's like whatever, 4 or 5, whatever." But it's because things don't bother me so much,
Well,
you know?
what else at this point could bother? I mean, you've already again, and then, what a true visionary is to summarize this, they're the most damaged person. They have those usually 3 or 4 of those things, usually. And then they have the highest coping skills. Coping means to fight, Latin word meaning to fight. So they have the highest IQ and EQ.
Mm.
So most people can't, there's no right or wrong, but most people can't do what you've done. They cannot. Because if they could, they would do it. They would, why wouldn't they do it? If they could do that, why would they choose not to do that? But they're not doing it. So
Well, that's my mission, is to give people the tools to be able to live the kind of life that they
I agree with
design,
you, but most people aren't
that's
gonna do it. So
yeah, it's whatever, even if I got 1% of the planet, it would be
1%?
fine
That
with
would be
me.
amazing.
It would be a miracle. I know, now
That
I gotta take my calculator
would
out.
be
I don't even know.
80,000,000 people.
I'll take it. 80 million in my lifetime. I mean, might be a little high, but you know what? This is not a metric thing.
Right,
This is more of a spatial thing.
right,
So I'm out to alter the conversation
right.
so that people can live their dreams, not chase them, and that chasing the carrot thing is such a trap, especially for the business world,
It's 'cause it
and
means
in the
anxiety.
relationship world. Yeah.
It means
Anxiety. I mean, people are like, "Oh my God, look at all the things you do. Aren't you, burnt out?" I'm like, "No, I'm not burnt out because I'm functioning from my vision. It's all one thing.
100%.
It's not, you know,
100%. I started, I don't know, 4 companies in the last couple of months, and they're like, "Aren't you busy?" I go, "No, I don't,
not
'cause I
really."
don't, I just doing my purpose, and then other people will scale it. I'm not gonna do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Up to
And I
them."
think that's what people think they mean by flow, but
Mm,
it's conceptual for most people. So,
right.
and there's so many like, "Oh, you find a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life, blah, 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 blah. Your purpose is to find your purpose and then give it away." And you can go to all
Yeah,
these quotes, but, you know, what I've at least discovered for myself is that I love my life because I say so, and I fulfill on what I'm saying. And whatever that is, whether it's having this conversation with you or working with clients or being with my parents or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like all an opportunity to fill on fulfillment.
And you also found the right romantic partner.
Yes, I am very lucky. And he is my second husband. I will say
Of
that.
course.
I did
But
have a
my point
practice
is you
husband.
went for you that's my you went and I don't know what happened with the first, but it's like that of course, that makes sense. That would make
Yeah.
perfect sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this has been great talking to you and getting to know you a little bit. And I'm thankful to Jen for introducing us. But is there any last words you want to offer people that are listening that
Um, well, this is a really fascinating conversation, so I don't prepare for interviews. I really, really enjoy talking to you.
me too?
You have a gift, a great gift, that you really, really help people with. I guess the two main sites are the epicfit.com, and then Corvia.ai, Corvia.ai. Oh, also started a plant medicine retreat center with a
Oh, we
she's
should
an
put the link in there
there's
too.
no link to that one. There's
Oh,
no link, but we've been posting. My partner for that, Noelle, I would describe her as an angel on. She literally is an angel on earth. She is not a human. She is an angel. Some type of gift. I'll introduce you to her. You'd like her.
I would love to
Yeah.
meet her. Yeah,
Oh yeah, she
absolutely.
is not a human. So, oh man, master
Well, I've
healer.
met enough humans. I could use some
She
non-humans,
is a non-human.
actually.
Well, hey, I'm not really either. You're not really a human. But I really appreciate your time. Really appreciate
Yeah, I appreciate your time too. Thank you. And for those of you listening, if you got a nugget of value, share the episode with somebody that you think it would make a difference with. That's the most important thing. I mean, do what you do with podcasts, whatever it is, like, subscribe, do that stuff, but share it. That's the most important thing. All right. Thanks. And we'll see you on the next episode of Be Unmessable With, the podcast.
Here's what I hope you heard today. Your past doesn't disqualify your vision, it fuels it. And whether you're scaling a company or writing a song or walking through a heartbreak, there is a version of you on the other side of that challenge that is more creative, that is more powerful, that is more free than you can even imagine at this moment. Justin reminded us that release is as important as drive, that healing isn't a detour, it's the real work. And that's the next chapter of your life. So it's not written in logic, it's written in your gut, your heart, your soul. And if you want to find out just how unmessable with you really are, well, take the How Unmessable With Am I quiz, which will take you 2 to 3 minutes, and the link is right below. It'll show you exactly where you are and the steps to elevate to the next level of being unmessable with. If this episode sparked something in you, if it stirred your own inner visionary, don't keep that to yourself. Make sure to share the episode with somebody that you care about that could, use listening to something like this right now, who wants to stop reacting and start creating. And if you want to dive deeper, watch the next episode. My name is Josselyne Herman-Saccio, and I will see you in the next video.